Hey everybody, Mags here. We are going to review some of the hints and tips that we've been given this year on the Dynasty Hotseat. If you are new here, do me a favor, can you like, comment, share on this video for me, please, like you can see here. And then also, if you're new here, why not hit that subscribe button too? It really helps out. Right, on to the hints and tips.
So I think the biggest hint or tip that I always start with is we have to kind of take a step back sometimes and remember that not all leagues are created equal, right? So I guess the headline for the tip would be know your league, right? Know your league mates or league managers, because when we're all scrolling on Twitter, right, it feels like every league only exists on Twitter, right? So, which isn't the case. And Twitter, while an entertaining app, has a tendency to become sort of an echo chamber in terms of player values and seeing a lot of the same sort of propping up of players or opinions, which is fine. But your home leagues or, any variety of leagues, not everybody plays on Twitter. So sometimes you see these trades that get floated out there or get brought up like they either would you take this side or that side. And I just think it's important to remember that not all those leagues are kind of created the same, where if you're selling an aging player, that maybe Twitter at large is going to fade because who wants an aging veteran? In all likelihood, there's somebody in your home league or work league or whatever sort of group of people you have playing in a dynasty league together that will have some more interest in it. It's just when we're all consuming so much quality content from so many different podcasts like yours, like people putting articles out there, it's easy to kind of get roped into or kind of slip into just the thought of, we're all kind of valuing it the same. So I guess you just got to kind of stay fluid and remember that not all leagues are created equal.
Yeah, I think that is great advice. Like you may be the same as me. You might float out a couple of offers in like a couple of different leagues. You might have the same offer in a couple of different leagues. And, in one league, someone calls you crazy for asking for it. And in another league, someone's like, oh, no, you can't. Like, you'll get the exact opposite response. Like, I remember I tried to buy Antonio Gibson for 2 firsts last season from somebody coming crazy. And another league I really picked, so I tried to sell him for 2 firsts. I was called crazy by that league. I'm like, I can't win. I cannot win.
It's a perfect point. It's there. It just differs so much from league to league.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think that's great advice for a first tip. Know your league mates, or as everybody's been saying, you got to know your enemy, like the Art of War says. Yeah, that seems to keep coming up in this section. So I love that as a first tip. What else you got for us?
My second would be, especially with kind of the rise to prominence with Superflex, right? Superflex is the new hotness. That's what most of us are playing, some form of, whether it's Superflex tight end premium, just Superflex. I would suggest not to be scared this year specifically, and in all years. Don't feel pigeonholed into, I have to take a quarterback with the 101 in rookie drafts if you're in that position. Because while quarterback value is absolutely propped up and pushed up in Superflex, right? You obviously need more than you need in a standard one quarterback league.
Yeah.
This year specifically, I'm not willing to, let me quantify this by saying I'm not willing at this point where we don't know draft capital investments or anything like that.
Yeah.
At this point, I'm not willing to pass on the elite options at wide receiver or potentially running back in favor of one of the quarterbacks with the 101. So I would kind of sum that up by saying, while quarterback is important, don't lock yourself into you need to take one with the first or second overall pick if that's where you're picking in your rookie draft. Because unless you traded for that pick, if your roster's in a real rebuild, maybe that's not the quarterback you want to go into your rebuild with.
Yeah, I think that's really good advice. You're right, especially with this class, which so far doesn't look the best, and that's great for taking your first point and putting it together with your second point, going, well, I know my league and I know that the 101 is definitely going to be Malik Willis or whoever. Someone's going to take him there. So if I've got the 101, I'm just going to trade back for it and I'll get all these other things. I'll still get the players I want and I'm getting an extra on top. So I really like that advice as well. Knowing your league mates, and then also not being afraid to just take the player you want, not just, a quarterback because you feel you have to.
Absolutely.
Yeah, really like it. And for your third tip, what you've got lined up for us?
My third tip would be, and I mean no offense to this position group, but always be looking to trade running backs too early rather than too late.
Yeah.
Whether that's second contract running backs, I'm always willing to try and get out a little early for premium value on a running back than too late. And sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. I was championing to, sell Derrick Henry a couple of years ago, and Derrick Henry went off with a season for the ages. But did he continue to appreciate in value after that? No. I mean, it seems like the value held and has started to fall since then. So I think it's an important thing to consider with these players who are reaching kind of that age cliff, especially at running back, that you should always kind of be open to, I guess you can really expand it to, don't make any player untouchable, right? Like even stud running backs should always be available for a price, especially if they're getting close to that, free agent market or second contract kind of threshold.
Yeah, I think that's great advice. It's something I will generally, go by unless I'm certain, absolutely certain I can win a championship in the current year or at a push the next year. Then I'm selling every running back I've got just as much as possible, because they're around for such a little amount of time that there's no point hanging on to them whenever they're just going to decrease in value. So I think those are 3 absolutely amazing tips. And
thank you so much for watching today's video. Remember, like this video, leave a comment if you want, and subscribe to the channel. These videos are going to be coming thick and fast, so you don't want to miss anything. So that's it for today. In the meantime, keep your teams lit. We'll see you next time.